Hello to all my beautiful race fans out there in TV land. How we doing this Wednesday? Everybody staying safe out there? Getting ready, making pies and stuff. Welcome to Wednesdays with Apex This. We're doing the Kamel GT Evolution at the famous Silverstone track. As we see Corey Mitchell here coming through Maggots and Beckett's here. Getting a little off track for Chapel onto the hanger straight. Oh my goodness, he's all out of shape. Anyways, we're just about to wrap up some practice here and get into the qualifying. As always, we have two 15-minute races here. And of course, for the second race, we are going to have an inverted grid. Let's check out that track temp right now. Up to 111 degrees, 70 degrees air temp out there. As we see a Federico getting passed on the pit straight by the SR8s. They are a good bit faster this time around opposed to what we were having at Indy last week. Get some of those track sounds out for y'all. As Adam retreats to the pits, we get a little break before we get into our qualifying session. We have a couple more of the Audis out on track today. Good to see some more guys out there. Guys and gals. That's Valerie, I believe, just ahead of Bjorn Benches. These Audis are pretty difficult to drive. And this is another track with a lot of high-speed corners, mid to high speed corners like this one. And you really got to utilize the rear downforce of the big wings on all these cars we have. As you hear those raging SR8s in the foreground as they come around that tight hairpin onto Aintree, which can be difficult to get right. Slingshot it correctly, you can get a great pass down the Wellington Straight. Again in the foreground, those raging little SR8s. As Valerie goes wide here, Bjorn's going to have a little look down the inside, just a little practice for when we go green flag racing in a little bit. Oh, Vincent Wood gets a little weird bump snap oversteer coming onto the hanger straight there. Gives Ty the boot. Ty somehow holds on to it and comes back on track ahead of him. That giving Vincent Wood the best second forward time we have seen yet. Bjorn heads into the pits, frees up Federico. He's putting in a great lap here. He's 0.4 behind Corey Mitchell. At the moment, he was a little bit higher up, further up above Corey for a good bit of practice here. here's Adam Baltutis coming around Lowfield, and he is mightily fast. We have seen many occasions in qualifying with the SR8s, but sometimes if he's on an out lap or a first lap of a race, he can find the rear end to be a little bit touchier than he was hoping. And they are a mighty touchy, and the SR8s as well as the Audis. And it is all about throttle control and getting those tires up to temperature, especially when you're coming into some of these high-speed turns. Like Maggots there, and then Beckett's here. You really need that rear end to cooperate. As he's a quarter second up on second place Ty Johnson in this practice session. Riding on board here in Adams Radical. Cops is one of those, just such a difficult turn to get right. You want to keep that speed up, and it gives you a little bit of runoff area at the far side, but you don't want to get it slowed down and go too far off it. It's so difficult to judge. Stowe, he carries a good amount of speed. This is pretty good looking lap for him at the moment. Ooh, he goes faster still, just dipping into the 154s. About over 5 seconds faster than the Audi class. Coming out of Village there, that one is definitely a throttle control, and coming into Aintree, that one is very difficult if you get too much of that curving, but you are trying to keep it together there. Let's take a quick look, if we can, at I have the leaderboards at the moment. Here is for the Radical class. Ty Johnson leads with 381, followed by Kent Kruger 350. Oh, and it's jumping right over to the other one. Hold on. And Corey Mitchell leads Bjorn Benches only by less than 20 points there, followed by Federico Del Toro, who's about 100 behind. So Corey fighting off Bjorn for the end of this championship here. We have one more week after this. Ty Johnson, though, 30 ahead of Kent Kruger, 31 ahead of Kent Kruger, and Michael Kulliger, who we have not seen for some time, but Steven Martinez with 334 there is also in contention. Troy Banks just a little bit further back, could be on for a end of season podium if he can finish pretty high up the next couple of races. And I know those are just photographics at the moment, but next season we should have the full lineup, full table live during the races, and be able to pull up that graphic during the race right here on Backseat Broadcasting. All your dreams come true. The only thing worse than the racing is the commentary. Pull up the race info. Check out who we're watching here. Is David Fendick. His first out on track, taking it very easy, warming up those tires. I didn't see him too much in practice, so maybe he's just also learning the track. It was best to go 70% around a new track, 70% of how fast you think you can go, and you'll get a hang for a new track pretty quickly. Here's Mark Bray. He was 4th fastest in practice in the Audi R8s. Qualifying only matters for the first race, as the second race will be an inverted grid. So the winners will start from the back, and that's what I'm talking about coming through Cops there. As Troy Banks goes a little wide, as you want to keep up that speed. It's okay at the moment because I believe this is his out lap. And he will get a good slide across those tires and really load them up, get some heat into them on this nearly 2-minute outlap. He's really even warming up his brakes there on the straights, giving it a little break as well to warm up those tires. He was fixing something in his VR as well as he gets out there. Ty Johnson coming down the old pit straights there, coming through Cops, keeping it a bit tighter. David Fendick on a hot lap coming around Lowfield at the moment. See a lot of guys cut the corner at Woodcote there. Put a little bit of grass in the foreground just to deter people a little bit. That's just a part of the paint and curbing. Kent Kruger crosses the line and starts a hot lap coming around Abbey. Ty Johnson, the hot sector 1. Nearly down the 50 board there, coming out of the Wellington straights. And I believe downforce settings are definitely going to come into play during this race. Vincent Wood first across the line with a 156. I believe we're going to see some better times than that during this qualifying session. Jeremy Lapidus second across the line. Adam Baltudis comes into second position there. Vincent Wood has an off track. And currently in the pit lane for him. Ken Kruger just behind Ty Johnson here, who didn't have any more purple sectors through the middle of this racetrack. Let's see how Sector 4 wraps up for him. No more purple. Let's see how Ken Kruger's doing out there. None for him either. Oh, as we see Corey Mitchell into the grass. He's going to have to just keep going. and deal with his tires as is, because this is a long, over 2-minute race lap, qualifying lap. As we can see, Federico Del Toro first across the line for the GT3 class with a 2:02.7. Vincent Wood crosses just 2/10 behind. Oh, sorry, that's Ty Johnson coming across the line, taking pole position with that quick first sector, I believe. And he pulls 2/10 ahead. He's into the 155s, and Corey, as I was saying, Corey Mitchell's just going to have to deal with that and keep going as he starts another lap here. He gets a purple sector in sector 2. Valerie also to owe us a hot lap. Bjorn goes second, 1.8 behind Federico, but he has gotten a clean lap out there, which will line him up nicely at the moment. Jeremy Lapinus comes out of the pits trying to set a race time, but I don't think he will have enough time on the board to do two for us. Here's Vincent Wood. Not able to better Tyler's times in any of those sectors. Ty with 2 purple sectors in this lap. He's really loving sector 1 there. And he's gotten sector 3 under his belt as well during this lap. But not able to better his time. Wood pushing it around Cops. It looks good over there. But just a couple 100s behind Vincent is Jeremy here. Doesn't look super tidy around that one. And Adam Baltutis just a few 100s back as well. He was going very fast during practice, but only finds himself in 4th here. Troy Banks also owes us a clean hot lap out here. He's coming around Stowe at the moment, about to wrap up his lap. Oh, Adam Baltutis goes fastest overall, 2/10 faster. Vincent Wood cannot do any better. Jeremy Lapinus still out on track, and here is Troy Banks coming across the line. He goes 5th fastest and relegates Kent Kruger down to 6th. Andres Garcia not able to set a time. Unfortunate for him, but that's going to be Adam Baltutis up top with no time remaining for anybody to set any time. So, just as I say that, here's Jeremy Lapinus coming around Stowe. Taking a bit of curbing into club corner. Oh, and then he loses the rear end. It's so easy as he could see the finish line from there. Why his a purple sector time there. That certainly was not the fastest purple sector I'd ever seen. And with just a few seconds to go in this session, let's jump over and see the track temp is actually just dropped by 1 degree, despite everybody pushing it out there. Yeah, this is a 3.6 mile racetrack. It is just a great track. here we are somewhere on the back hanger straight, hopefully. This will be a long parade lap getting us out there, as I said, 3.6 miles. And so these SR8s are going to rack up just ahead of these Audis, except for the guys who failed to qualify out there, who will start from the back and weave their way hopefully cleanly through the Audi field. So just waiting for Corey to jump onto track, and we are ready to go racing. And it is going to be a mean 15-minute sprint race. Grab those points before we get into round 2. And here is the view from the Taco Bell machine of Andres Garcia. He's got Bjorn and Frederico sitting ahead of him. So that's Adam Baltudis on your pole position. He's followed by Ty Johnson. Row 2 is Vincent Wood and Jeremy Lapinis. Troy Banks and Kent Kruger stack up on row 3. Then Frederico Del Toro, fastest overall for not overall, but for the GT3 class, followed by Bjorn Benches. And we have Andres Garcia we're riding along with here, and Corey Mitchell are on the following row, followed by Val Arsencio, David Fendick, Mark Bray, and then we have David Fendick coming up the rear. And we have green lights out on track as Adam takes that lead comfortably. Ty Johnson slots as he was into second place and then goes quite wide and has some issues on these cold tires. Bummer for him. Troy Banks. And then Andres Garcia finding his way around Bjorn Benches, at least for the moment, and working on Frederico Del Toro next. Corey Mitchell has jumped ahead of Bjorn Benches there. Finds himself in second place. That is, I was about to say that was Troy Banks staying ahead of Kent Kruger there, but the cold tires not do him any good on this outlap on the inside there. So now David Fendick is caught right up to the back of him. Ty Johnson, 1.6 down the road, making his way through the podium GT3 traffic. And that is Kent Kruger going wide at Copses. We see it so easy there when you lose that downforce, especially riding behind somebody. He's got probably a bit of a slowdown, but he is tracking down Jeremy Lapinis ahead of him in third place. Why is the race info not up? That's part of the reason I can't tell what's going on. Sorry about that. We're 1 minute 30 into the race. Here's Bjorn Benches with an issue dropping down the order. He's now, he didn't lose any places, but David Fendick and Troy Banks getting by there. Now staring at the back of the top 2. Andres Garcia utilizing all that track space back there. Troy Banks wants to get himself back up the standings. And he's got to find a way around the Corey Mitchell in front of him. Vincent Wood, your race leader at the moment. Adam Baltudis had a storming start, and he wants to get that race lead back. Jeremy Lapinis is staying ahead of Kent Kruger. For now, Corey Banks is still ahead of Troy Banks. And Jeremy almost able to turn that defense into some offense. This will be interesting as we see them come around cops here. Kent Kruger just behind this battle. Here's the view from his onboard. Struggles with those rear tires. He wants to stay with them. A huge loss of downforce. You can come around Maggots pretty fast, but when you get down to Beckett's, you really got to go slower. And if you're following somebody, these things are so aero dependent. Oh, and we have Andres Garcia with an issue. No, I think we saw him get a little bit too much of the curbing there. We've come around club. A little bit further up, you can see Troy Banks has made his way past Federico Del Toro and Corey Mitchell, so now he can try to get back up towards Ty Johnson ahead of him, who is now pulled up to Kent Kruger, who I think we might have just seen had an issue in the foreground a little bit ago following the top three. He's currently in fourth, about to be put under some pressure by Ty. Let's check out what happened. Oh, and just coming into Village there, he starts to lock it up and spin it a little bit. Going back live, Ty is still with him. And Troy will be loving this. Adam Baltutis still not able to regain first place as he goes. Oh, I thought he was going to go for it there. Oh, no, here we are into the final chicane and into club. The battle for the GG3s is not as close as it is for the SR8s. Corey Mitchell 1.7 behind Federico at the moment. And Bjorn is another 7.5 back. Oh, as he gets tagged by David Fendick there, coming into the final chicane, who thought there was room there. Ended up outbraking himself. And now Bjorn is going to battle with Mark Bray to complete this lap and into the next one. Andres Garcia, his luck is not getting any better as he is in 7th place, has another spin. And Adam Baltutis now finds himself a ways back. Let's see what had happened. Oh. What turn is that? It's hard to see there. Oh, and that was looked like Chappell coming onto the Hanger Straights where he turned it. Back with this battle a lap later. Oh, and that's Ty Johnson making that move happen. And I don't think Kent's going to be able to stop him and get any sort of cut back on him. Troy Banks goes a little wide behind these guys. Currently, Mark Bray's fallen just a little bit behind Bjorn Benches. And the battle for the lead is now Vincent Wood and Jeremy Lapinus, both of whom started on the second row. So now Ty Johnson and Adam Baltutis have been swept aside. They are going to race it out. We got 8.5 on the clock at the moment. We are on lap 5 of this first sprint race. Everybody always races just so hard in these. It's great to see. As Federico Del Toro enters the pit lane. Oh, what has happened here? I don't know. Maybe he is waiting for Corey Mitchell. It says has had an accident. Oh, he has just outbraked himself and tried to keep it on track, maybe? That looked a little strange to me. Anyways, Federico has entered the pit lane. He is still sitting in the pit lane. Still sitting there with the SR8 of Andres Garcia. I don't quite know what happened, but Corey Mitchell is going to take the lead of his class. Something happened to Federico. He's back out now. Back up top. SR8s are still going at it. Vincent Wood is holding off Jeremy for a moment. We got 5 minutes to race. That is going to be 3 more laps, I believe. Coming up to some traffic. That is Federico Del Toro, who just came out of the pits, is now already playing a role in this race after taking himself out of contention in this race. Then some cuts to the inside and breathes off a little bit. That allows Jeremy. He's all over that bumper, getting a ton of slipstream. Really pushing it through Copse there. Ooh, really testing the limits there, as that was not the time to go ahead of him. And he lost at least half a second there. He's going to have to get right back in that slipstream here and try to make up for that. A little bit further back, that's Adam Baltutis making a move on the inside of Federico here. He's still in a podium position, but 2 positions back from where he started. Oh, and Bjorn Benches has another issue towards the back. It's okay, he's running in second place at the moment, but he needs Corey to have some issues. Oh, and Vincent Wood now getting slowed up by David Fendick. The lap traffic. Here's Jeremy Lapinus. He's going to get a nice, better line through Village here. And out through Aintree. They're going side by side. Jeremy's got the racing line. He should have this. And especially coming around Brooklands, which is next. He is a full car length ahead. But, oh, as you just see Vincent Wood have some straight line speed, it seemed there. It's going much faster than Jeremy, who might be carrying a little bit more downforce. Oh, and that outside line is not going to work for Jeremy, as Valerie is in the way. A little bit further back. Oh, you're seeing Adam Baltutis get past David Fendick. Vincent Wood leads again. 2.5 to race here. This is the second to last lap. know quite what has happened, but Ty Johnson able to pull back up to Jeremy here. Oh, sorry, to Adam Baltunis, excuse me. He gets a little bit wide on Stowe there. We've seen a couple drivers, Troy Banks having a couple issues with that turn. It's so easy as you want to carry as much speed around it. And some great racing happening here. Around Abby. Oh! Gets some wood. Gets a lot of curve there. Almost loses it. Doing a very defensive weaving line. This is our final lap here. We have a minute on the clock. Jeremy getting that better line out of Village and around Aintree here, but not able to go side by side and then give the lead back on the straights. It was a remarkable time. He's got to make a move sometime. Has a look to the inside. Tries to get a very late apex here on Brooklands, so he can be in a better racing line through the right-hander, but it's just not happening for him. Not getting the draft from Vincent that they would be expecting. Vincent just looks so much faster in a straight line. He is braking slightly before Jeremy is. You can just see he has a little bit more speed through those corners, and it's 0.4 behind now. I don't know if he's going to be able to make this work. Take something pretty spectacular to knock Vincent off from here. Vincent taking a very awkward line, just cutting across towards the apex, and he's going to hold on here around Club. Just further back, Ty Johnson pressuring Adam Baltutis. But Adam will hold on for third place. And Ty Johnson is that his fastest lap or the fastest lap of the race? 1:55.2. Behind them, Kent Kruger crosses the line in fifth. As we see Corey Mitchell back here with the GT3s still leading. Coming around Stowe for the final time. Just has to hold it together and he'll get those points for the GT3 class. He's going to bring it home in first, followed by Bjorn Benches, it looks like. And Mark Bray is going to make a trip to the podium this evening in third. A little further back, Federico Del Toro finished in fourth. David Fendick finished seventh for the SR8s. Valerie finished fifth for the GT3s. And Andres Garcia retired 3 laps ago. On the podium for the GT3 class. And we're going to jump into our 5-minute warm-up session here. And that, of course, calls for some jams.
Are y'all ready for the jam?
Yeah, the jams.
I said, are y'all ready for the jam? Yo, G, kick it.
Jam, oh jam, 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 oh jam,
We are already finished with that beautiful warm-up session. Fantastic. I love it when they skip the warm-ups. Always easier on me. So here is your starting grid for the feature race. We have Andres Garcia, who retired from the first one. That's a great way to get on the pole position for the second race here. And then we have Valerie Arsencio lining up next to him. Row 2 is David Fendick and Federico Del Toro. Then we have Troy Banks lined up next to Mark Bray. I love this back-to-back first 3 rows, mixed class. Beautiful. Then we have Bjorn Benches and Corey Mitchell lining up. Kent Kruger lines up next to Ty Johnson. Adam Baltudis next to Jeremy Lapinus. And at the tail of this race, Vincent Wood is rewarded with that win with the last on the grid. We're ready to do our out lap already. Coming around Stowe there. And there is no separation between classes at the moment. And we are green flagged out there as David Fendick takes, well, it's a great opportunity there to make his way through to second place. Oh, there's Kent Kruger, who spun it and got kicked out of the race quite quickly. Here's Ty Johnson making that move on the inside. Jeremy Lappin is making that move on the inside, getting right up the standings. Corey Mitchell is the last GT3 in the way for them. Bjorn Bench is being swapped. That's David Fendick, who had an issue there. Went wide from his sort of front row start he had at the beginning of this race. Corey Mitchell getting passed by Ty Johnson, and Jeremy Lappin is very aggressive on the inside there into Brooklands. They both get it done cleanly. Federico Del Toro now right on the heels of Corey Mitchell from the get-go. Troy Banks trying the outside move on Bjorn Benches to get past him and back up to the pack for this race. Not as clean as he would have liked as Adam Baltudis is weaving around through the slower class back here. Federico goes a little wide around Stowe. That invites Troy Banks in before we get into the twisty turnies. Here's David Fendick after his early off, trying to make up for it. Oh! As he sees Bjorn go, or is that Mark Bray go very wide through Beckett's, and gives him the opportunity to get through. Right at the top of the standings, we see Ty Johnson here holding on from Andres Garcia to Jeremy Lapinus. We have another stack up at the top. Corey Mitchell getting passed by Troy Banks just in time. It looks like Vincent Wood might even have a look, and he gets a bunch of curbing. Oh, who was that? In the background, that's Andres Garcia from second place. Got a little bumped around there. Let's see what happened as they come around Stowe. Oh, and his fronts just would not go. He was a little aggressive on his turn-in. Vincent Wood with a couple off tracks and issues during this race already. Ty Johnson storming out in front. Oh, Troy Banks retiring from this race, having an off of his own. Jeremy Lappin is currently 1.3 behind. He's closer to Adam Baltudis behind him. He has to look out. Let's see what they put down for their first lap. Oh, but Adam Baltudis has a spin on his second and has to watch that throttle control yet again after a great start to this race, finding himself closing in on second place and losing 3.2 seconds about because of that spin. Andres Garcia getting on the inside and cutting that Woodcote corner a little bit. Gets him ahead of Bjorn Benches. Corey Mitchell hanging with a 1 second gap over second place. Federico Del Toro in the all red Audi in the background. He is eating into that lead. And here's Andres Garcia getting past Federico on the inside, but just barely. Wonder if that's going to slow him up at all. It most certainly does. Just momentarily. 1.4 is the gap up top for Ty Johnson still. But Jeremy Lappin is putting in the fastest lap of the race and just taking it away. He's in the 155s out there, 155.9. And closing on that, but not at the moment. Here is Andres Garcia trying to get by Corey Mitchell. Not going to happen. And Federico likes the looks of that. A little further back, Vincent Wood is probably going to make a move on Federico of his own soon. In the slowest section of the track here. Bjorn taking a very different line around this very wide racetrack. There is Andres Garcia trying to make that move on Corey Mitchell. Down the inside he goes. And that's going to burn off about 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, sorry. That is not going to burn off the time. That was the time for Vincent Wood closing on Corey Mitchell. I thought that was the time closing for Federico Del Toro. I got so happy about it, but looking like 1.5. The gap back to Federico, who's now closer to Bjorn Benches, just less than a second back for him. Andres Garcia now dealing with Vincent Wood, having gotten past the GT3 traffic. And I believe it was Vincent who was looking so good on the straights. He's not even interested in the slipstream, and you can tell he's gaining on Andres Garcia there big time down the straight. Goes to the inside. Jeremy Lappin is followed by, Adam Baltutis putting in the best laps of the race currently. Adam Baltutis has cut that 5.9 second gap to Jeremy down to 3.6 at the moment. Oh, as Andres Garcia spins it. Trying to get a little jump on Vincent there. He's now been passed by the top 3 GT3, so he's going to have some more fighting to do. A little more frustration. The gap up top is dropped to 0.8 at the moment, as Jeremy is slowly but surely shaving that time off of Ty's lead. Jeremy also looked very good on the infield slower section than Vincent did during the first race. Let's see what happens to his timing here. It is going down considerably, which it was not doing behind Vincent in the first race. So it looks like they're probably running the same amount of downforce as well. So Jeremy might have a better shout at the win here, as we're just halfway done with this race. Finds himself in a great little battle for the lead. Andres Garcia now making his way through this class, and surely annoying the hell out of everybody. Adam Baltutis puts in the fastest lap of the race again, getting closer to those 154s. is a 155.2 to continue to catch Jeremy and Ty ahead. He should be able to catch them by the end of the race. Andre still working on Corey, who is just putting down fastest lap for the GT3s so far. And Andres Garcia has got to be thinking that the Wellington Straight here is his moment. The gap here is still about 0.6, 0.7. So it didn't eat up any of Tyler's time this lap. But being consistent and staying with him, hopefully you can push him into a mistake. And Ty's just got to be thinking 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes. So we will have 3 more laps of racing here. And Adam Baltutis not cutting into the leads that much. Really putting them under some pressure here. Going down the Wellington Straight, and he takes a lot of curbing on Brooklands, gives him plenty of room on the outside there. And he has just a ton of grip through these corners. And now he will lead this race and deal with Ty all over his mirror, making him second guess every single corner. There's Ty making up about a 10th in that very close proximity draft down the back straights there. Oh, Jeremy really not able to apex that first part of the chicane at all. But Jeremy very respectfully been able to keep that gap around 0.3, 0.4 during this lap. And Adam Baltutis comes around again. And it's dropped to 1.7, 1.6 for him now. And he can sniff a victory if he gets up here. A little bit further back in the GT3s, Bjorn is just behind Federico here. And he's doing quite well considering he took a trip to the pit lane for a minute. Finds himself on track just a little bit behind Corey here. Was that the first race? I can't even remember. I feel like it would be very difficult for him to have made it this far back behind Corey. But excuse-moi, back with the raging lead here at 0.3. And Ty's going to go for it down the inside here. Jeremy left him the space, but realized Ty didn't have the grip to continue his momentum. And Adam Baltudis is now less than a second behind these guys. Here is his onboard. Putting in a 154.8. Really pushing himself. We're on the final lap of this race. It's now or never for these guys. On board with Ty here. He's going to go for it on the insides of Brooklands, but if Jeremy can stay door to door, he should have the inside for Lowfield. And Adam is just loving this, as this is going to bring him right into play in just a few short moments. Actually, he did not have the best time coming out of Lowfield. Woodcote. Surely this is not the time. That turn in there is not the moment to make a pass. Jeremy is able to get on the gas nice and early. And now Ty's got to be thinking more about defense than attack on this final lap here. We are out of race time. We are approaching the finish line. Trying to get side by side with him. Ty breaks very late into the chicane. Wonder if that's going to compromise him at all, as Adam gets on the gas and has a little wheel spin and tries to get out of there as soon as possible. Just 2/10 behind him. He's going to bring it home in third place. So that's Jeremy Lapinus, Ty Johnson, Adam Baltudis. Vincent Wood will come home in fourth as he brings it across around Stowe there. Corey Mitchell, as he comes around Maggots and Beckett's for the final time. He's 3 ahead of Federico Del Toro. He should be able to bring that home for a great haul of points this evening. Warren Bench is only good enough for third this time. He wants some extra points, and Mark Bray is going to come home in fourth. Andres Garcia, Troy Banks, Kent Kruger, and Valerie Asensio did not finish with us. And here they are finding a nice place to take their podium pictures. Sorry, Mark. As Mark gets a little caught up here in Maggots and Beckett's. And David Fendick in fifth place for the SR8s, coming around Stowe for the final time. Here are your podium winners this evening. Jeremy Lapinus having a fantastic race there. Oops, that's not what we wanted to do. We Get that Apex logo up top. And that is what it is all about, being blindsided on Apex this race league. Thank you all for joining us. Make sure you hang around for tomorrow. We're having Thanksgiving special here at Silverstone. Of course, gobble gobble. We're doing the LMP2s, the IMSA class with the GTEs again. So just a fantastic track to have these guys on, and should be very favorable with this nice big wide racetrack. Can't wait to see you guys there, and everybody stay safe for this holiday. See you tomorrow.